I'm your host, Queen Everlena, and this is QEB. I'm so excited because today is my first time in Patchwerk Studios. I'm sitting here with co-owner Curtis Daniels. He's been, decided to take his time out of his busy schedule to talk with QEB today. So how you doing, Curtis?
Doing great. I'm honored to have you here.
Right,
After
finally
many
here.
attempts, we finally made it. We're getting it done.
Exactly, getting it done. Okay, so we're just going to get right into this interview. Why a recording studio? I mean, you can start any other business in the world. Why a recording studio?
For me, I always said I'm like most people that probably got black parents or black mama. I just grew up with music. I mean, literally from the time that, as far as I can remember, it just was always music in the house. I just loved music, just listening to music, good records, good songs, and stuff like that. So, um, it just was. That's what I mean. For me, I did what I had to do, kind of like my whole life, all the way through high school, playing football and basketball and baseball. I ended up getting a football scholarship, and then I did what I had to do to graduate from college. And once I graduated, I had said that I was going to take 2 years off to do what I wanted to do and chase a dream. And I just always loved music, so started off DJing parties in the sixth grade, doing weddings, had a radio station in college, did street promotions in college. I just love music, and so the studio just came because there were never any people like me or you on that side of it, the technical side. All of us, it was kind of like a little, I would say, like everybody was going down the same channel, and we just wanted to do something a little bit different to get on the technical side. So we felt like we built a studio, a world class facility where people can be proud of, and they can work at a place that they felt comfortable.
Exactly.
When we first started, a lot of artists, they were working in places, and they would say that the people, they didn't feel like the people wanted them there, or they were scared of them, intimidated by all the homies or whatever. So we just wanted to build a place where people can feel comfortable and work and do good quality music.
Wow. And we know that hip hop comes with a lot of homies.
A
Okay,
lot of
you've
homies.
had Beyonce here, you've had Usher, you've had Whitney Houston. I mean, even Stevie Wonder, correct?
No Stevie
No
Wonder. We
Stevie.
worked on Michael Jackson stuff
Michael
though.
Jackson. Okay.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
one. I know it was someone. One of the veterans. I couldn't
Yeah,
remember which one. Okay.
we've been blessed to work with a lot of people.
Uh huh.
It's coming up on like 19 years, I think, for us. We
Okay.
started in '95, so it's just been a cool little staple. And like I tell people, it's kind of like if you bring in somebody and one of your friends are coming in town to eat, you know, you might have your little favorites when they ain't here, but when you take somebody out, you want to go somewhere nice. So when people bring artists in from out of town, a lot of times they bring them here because we've been good at keeping our facility up.
All right, all right. So Stevie Wonder, if you're watching, that probably was a premonition. When you come to Atlanta, you have to come to Patchwork Studios in order to record. So now, how did you meet Bob?
Me and Bob went to. So Bob's brother and my brother are the same age.
Okay.
I'm a year behind Bob, so they're 4 years ahead of me and 3 ahead of Bob. Bob and my sister are the same age. Me and Bob went to the same kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school.
Oh, okay.
And then I was a straight C student, C plus student in high school. So I went on a scholarship to Michigan State. Bob was a straight A student all the way through the 11th grade, and so he went to Stanford. So we grew up together, same neighborhood. Name of the neighborhood we grew up in LA, and Carson was called the Cabbage Patch Gangsters. So instead of, like I say, the gangsters put in work by shooting people and beating people up, we wanted to pay homage to our neighborhood, so we came up with Patchwork, putting in work for the patch. So
Ah,
we
okay.
just grew up together, man. Our family's been families forever.
That is so cool because you don't get a lot of stories like that where here two young men, especially two young black men, grew up together and now they're giving something back to the community both ways because you're giving back, paying homage to, LA, and then now you're paying homage here to Atlanta. I mean, you got both coasts going on, the East and the West. I like that. I like that. I like that spin. Now, you do have a new venture. For those who, if you've come to Atlanta recently, you know that we now have a new urban station here called 94 The Street. So now, how did you meet Steve? What does Steve come in at? Is he from the patch?
Streets
Okay.
94.5. So, like I was saying, I had a partner named Jason Staten. Me
Uh-huh.
and Jason used to do a radio station on campus called Cultural Vibe. And Jason was heavy in the street promotions, helped work Wu Tang, EPMD, a whole bunch of real street promotions back in the day. We used to go to the projects, we used to
Okay.
do the whole Midwest and all this stuff. So anyway, at the time, I think Steve was the program director at WJLB in Detroit.
Oh,
And
okay.
him and Jason had the relationship. And so, ironically, when I moved here to Atlanta after I graduated, literally about the same time we opened the studio, Hot 107.9 was open, which is 97.5.9, 97.5 at the time. And so Jason helped Steve get that station off the air. We literally were doing the mixes. We didn't have DJs at first. We were literally doing the mixes on reels at Patchwerk. Take them up there on a reel machine and let them play throughout the day. We have digital stations now, but we would play the reels and all the mixes and all that stuff. So it was when it was out in the trailer in Hampton. So that's kind of how I met Steve. We hadn't had a lot of interaction, but I've known of him. He's known of me. And then they were doing a new station here in Atlanta. And they needed a little bit more. They wanted to bring on one more partner to financially contribute to the project, and Jason suggested to Steve that I may be a good person to do it. So Steve came over. We caught back up. He showed me what they were doing, what they were trying to do, projections and stuff like that. So I contributed to the partner, and to the project, and became was on 4% of the station. So I always tell people, Steve is an expert in what he does. I mean, he's been nominated program director probably 6 times nationally. He's an expert at opening stations, growing them, and all that stuff. So, I don't really have any involvement in any of the things because that's what they do. So if I was going out and start a new studio and had him contribute, he wouldn't even have any say so in this world. So I respect him and what they're doing. So I think it's money well invested, and they're doing a good job at the station. So
because it's like everywhere. I mean, I know I was excited to see Rashawn Ali get her own morning show because I was like, wow, she should be on E or Entertainment Tonight, and so that was exciting just to see the evolution. Because when I first came here, I believe she was at 107.9 when I came around 2007, 2008.
Steve's real good at identifying talent.
Yes.
And so a lot of people that are on the air now here in Atlanta, even on some of the AM stations, they started at 97.5, and he's the person that kind of brought those people in, whether it was Lala, whether it was Ludacris, whether it was Shot, all those to Cersei them, he identified those. So with our new station, the first person he hired was Holiday, and Holiday was new to the radio, so that's kind of like the new person that he identified, and then he brought in, I think, J Tech, and then he got some veterans as well. So Steve, like I said,
Jay Breathup, and I know recent addition Jazzy McBee, and I was like, okay.
So you know more than me. I mean,
hey, I'm a journalist. This is what we do.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, man, I'm honored to be a part of it. It's cool to watch it grow. It's cool to see people get excited about it. And it was just a blessing to have an opportunity to be a part of it, and just to know Steve from way back when.
Okay, cool. So speaking of identifying talent,
but I do have other ventures too. So my newest venture, I was
okay. Wait, this is exclusive.
Hold on, this is exclusive. Actually, it's ironic. We literally went live this morning. Okay. I set up this venture. It's called 5101520.com. The number 5, spell out 10, TEN, the number 15, and then 20, spell out .com. And basically, I call it a tool for artists. And so basically, it's like a group fundraising site where artists, established artists with a name can go on there and put a project up, and they offer rewards at those price points. So right now, if you go on there now, we just started a 30-day campaign. We're trying to do Pastor Troy's new album called Thou Shalt Not Kill. And so he has prizes on there where if you pledge $5, you can stream the studio session, get the single, $10, you get the download for the album, 15, and so on. And then for you up-and-coming artists that want a hot verse, you got a prize package on there where if you pledge $500, you can send him your original song and he'll do a verse on there for you. And so the next project we're going to do, we got Eric Sermon, and then we're working with Sean Paul from the Youngblood. So you were talking about my new venture. I was like, man, I should know about that. But that's one of the things that I'm doing as well to kind of get back to artists that I think are still talented, but the labels maybe not think they're viable. So I'm looking for the Tweets, for the SWVs, the Scarfaces, the E40s, the Too Shorts, all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. spoiler alert, because he knew I was about to ask. So, what new talent are you excited about over here? See if you was going to give it to us tonight. So, that's why y'all have to tune in to QV Vlog TV, because we're always getting the scoop. So, now, what advice would you have for a new upcoming artist?
I always say that, I think that you kind of, I think you gotta know who you are and what you're trying to be, and then and kind of stick to that, so that if people do like you, they like you for who you are. You don't have to keep putting on an act of being somebody. Like you may get somebody to like you for something that you're doing, and then you don't want to be that no more. That's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? But that, and then just believe in your craft and believe that you literally have to work at it. Like it literally is a job. Recording the music is the first thing. But then you gotta break yourself. You gotta brand yourself, and you gotta get out there and promote yourself and stuff like that. But whatever it is, I'm like I always tell people, I'm never gonna discourage somebody from chasing their dreams. So if you believe in it, then just give yourself an opportunity to be successful. And I always tell people that just go hard for 21 straight days. Like don't wake up and not make that call. Don't wake up and don't go to that show. Don't wake up and not try to sell your CD. Just give yourself a whole 21 straight days where you did every possible thing you can do to make yourself successful. And then if it doesn't work after that, then maybe you want to try something else. But if you've been slacking on a couple days and you felt like you cut a corner, then you need to restart over and try to do it for 21 days. And the most important thing is I think you need to establish your own team. Most of the people that are successful, they got people. T.I. got Jason Jeter, Shaka and Luda got each other. It's partners where people come in and they make their own thing. It's very rare that people will make your dream for you. You know what I mean? They're doing what they do. So
we know all about that here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's all the time we have. Stay tuned for more.